Hello comic book fans, or in this case, Daredevil fans. I finished the second season of Daredevil on Netflix some time ago, but I haven't gotten around to doing a video about it until now. So I'm a huge Daredevil fan, obviously. Besides the whole cosplay aspect, I've been reading his comic book for years. There's a storyline that initially got me into it called Fall from Grace, and I loved it, and I thought it was so incredibly well written. But you're here for the Netflix series and not the comic book, so I'll go into that. Right off the bat, I'm going to say the season was incredible. I mean, it was awesome. There was maybe one little irk that kind of bugged me, but for the rest of the whole show, I loved it. The development of all of the characters in the show, I mean, they did a really spot-on job. Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock. Whenever I see him on screen, his mannerisms, everything he does just screams out, this is Daredevil. He has such a strong moral code to bring to this vigilante that brings him into direct odds with the Punisher, who's played by Jon Bernthal. And the Punisher was done really well. All of the past actors who have played him in the past have brought in their own unique take to it. I love Thomas Jane's interpretation. The only problem with him was that I thought he was way too nice in the movie. But that was Thomas Jane's version. In this one, Jon Bernthal, he's still a vigilante and he's still trying to do good, but he's also an extreme asshole. But you sympathize with him a lot. Frank Castle has been through a lot. He's a great soldier, he was a great family man, and his family was taken away from him. So you understand his philosophy of killing all the bad guys, as opposed to the philosophy of Daredevil, who'd rather just knock them out and let the police handle it. I love seeing these two together. I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would see Daredevil on screen with the Punisher and having them duke it out. Little side note, there is an alternate reality comic book that came out called What If the Punisher Killed the Marvel Universe? In this universe, Matt Murdock and Frank Castle were childhood friends. They both grew up in Hell's Kitchen, and at a certain point down the line, Frank Castle literally killed all of the superheroes and villains in the Marvel Universe, leaving him and Matt Murdock as being the last two superheroes left on Earth. But then he ends up killing Daredevil and then killing himself. Anyways, back to this. Elektra was also introduced this season, who was played by Elodie Young. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her first name right or not, but she was a great addition. The only problem is I didn't really like her development. It seems as though she was a good guy slash anti-hero at first, and then she turned against him, and then later she was on his side again. It felt as though they were just kind of developing her character so that she could be spun off to go into her own series. Which I understand that. The first season of Daredevil was all self-contained. They probably didn't know that a second season was going to be made. Now they know they can take a lot of chances because it's going to be renewed for a third season, and each of these characters are going to be going off to doing their own series. So it's not like it bugged me too much, but it was just still something in the back of my head. I just realized this is what they're doing. They're setting her up for her own thing. Moving over to Daredevil's supporting cast, both of the characters of Foggy Nelson and Karen Page were awesome. I've liked Eldon Henson, who plays Foggy, ever since I saw him back in the Mighty Ducks. His character definitely got a lot stronger this season. I love that he's taking chances. He's still a good guy and he's trying to fight the good fight. And at the end, tying together the Jessica Jones series with this was something else that I thought was pretty cool, and I'm hoping that maybe he'll be interacting with them, or maybe he'll show up in the Luke Cage series. Regardless of what it is, I do hope that he continues on to be seen throughout the Netflix Marvel Cinematic Universe. Karen's character also got a lot stronger too, even though I knew there was going to be some sort of love triangle thing set up, with Elektra showing up and her having some interest in Matt Murdock. The story itself is definitely being set up for a future season, or at least future spin-offs to take place. The Hand is introduced and is tying together with a character that was introduced in the last season who we all thought was dead. The Hand is an organization of assassins that are usually a lot of ninjas. But with the ninjas and all the fight scenes and all the choreography, I mean, it was so incredibly well done. There is a scene in the third episode that I have to say that after I watched it, I went online to look it up and I saw so many different memes, so many different GIFs that have been made out of that. It was just something that was just incredible. But what I really like about the fighting sequences in this is that it feels like it could really happen in real life. Essentially, Daredevil is just a regular person. He has heightened senses, but his fighting skills are all him. It has a realism to it that just really draws you into it. At least it did for me. And Daredevil's costume was made in a way to benefit him in these fights. It was developed through the first season and into this season in a way where it's like this is something that will help him out rather than just have him look good. And that's something else that I liked about this. Because his costume was much more realistic and it was developed and slightly altered into this one, it just felt like it was even better. Not to mention that he finally gets his signature billy clubs, which is something he uses to help swing across buildings, which is something that was missing in the first season, but we get to see it in this one. Which was only briefly, but still, it was enough for me to get totally geekgasmed out. Overall, I gotta say, this series was great. I mean, I'm really impressed with it. I love the first season, I love Jessica Jones, and I'm loving this one too. The series is definitely very dark. It's not for kids, that's for sure. But it's a different type of darkness. Not to compare it to another movie that just recently came out that has nothing but despair and sadness. This is a kind of darkness where you know there's still hope, and you still feel as though good will prevail at the end. So overall, this was a great series. I binge watched it from beginning to the end. There was only one point where I took a break, and that was because I had to sleep. But that's just my obsessiveness. If you do watch this, I do recommend you take breaks in between. I can't wait for season 3. I can't talk this up anymore. I definitely recommend if you watch any Netflix series out there, watch the first season of Daredevil and then watch season 2. But that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching me in this TV review. Be sure to check out my Patreon site, my social media sites, my website, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.